Now we return to the ABC Election Centre for more live coverage with Kerry O'Brien.
Welcome back to the ABC's live coverage of the 2010 state election. With me in the studio are Labor's Kevin Foley, Liberals' Rob Lucas, the ABC's Dominic Swartz and veteran South Australian political analyst Dean Jensch. Now, Dean, the figures are starting to come in a little more freely now. I think we're up to, in statewide terms, we're up to 4% of the vote counted, but we might actually have a bit of a seat run. And at this stage, in two-party preferred terms, it looks like a swing to the Liberals of about 5%. Are we able to pull up some seats? We might. Well, we'll have a look at the scoreboard, which is our election scoreboard that shows the allocation of seats. And at this stage, we're saying Labor has 21 seats, definite seats. The Liberals have 11 definite seats. No seats at this stage that we can say have changed hands, but there are 14 seats in doubt. Now, Dean, what are you picking up?
Kerry, what I'm picking up is that the swing is patchy. There's no doubt about that. It's a small swing. It's a high swing in some places. There's even a swing to the Labor Party in some of the booths. Right, statewide. Now, if you look along the bottom line, you'll see the percentage. First preference percentage votes. Labor 37, Liberal 45, Green 10, Family First 6, National. No votes in on that one yet. Another 1.7. But looking at the swings, this is the crucial thing. On first preference swings, the Labor Party's down 11.7%. It's gone almost completely to the Liberal Party, up 11.9%. Slight improvement on the Greens, but the others very stable. So it is a significant swing against Labor to the Liberal Party. Two-party swing, you can call that. Now, if we go a bit further and look at the... Back to Kerry.
Yeah, but I think it's probably a little bit early for the chamber.
I think it is.
Yeah. We might... I've been hearing the phones going... Kevin, what are you picking up?
Well, I keep asking my staff to let me know how I'm going down in Port Adelaide, but I'll just have to hang on.
Not that self-interest is a component of politics.
No, be unlike a politician to be self-interested.
I was down there today, Kevin, and those posters, you were looking remarkably younger.
I said to Rob Lucas, Rob was down on one of my booths, and I think I had to confess the photos could be as much as 16 years ago. I said, it's nothing to do with ego. It's all about the cost. I didn't want to have to buy new posters. But, and I am worried that Rob was down in my patch because he could have pulled a few votes the Liberal way. But look, we've had a call in to say that certainly in the seat of Newland, an important booth called St Agnes, 1,300 votes counted, 670 to Tom Kenyon, the Labor incumbent, and 480 to Trish Draper. I have to say, Tom Kenyon is a young lad who used to work for me. He has busted his backside during this campaign. He has been out from the minute the sun's up until the night goes down. If anyone on sheer work ethic deserves to win a seat back, it's Tom. But look, again, it's very early. The seat of Light, again, 4 booths in, we're told. I don't have a percentage here, 3% of the vote. Our candidate's about 300 votes ahead out of 3,000. So, but again, it's far.
Of course, when you're hearing about booths, it's important to know what happened with that booth last time.
But of course, the other thing, Kerry, that we have, of course, is in South Australia, as Rob would again recall, after the '89 election, when the Liberal Party actually won the popular vote, but Labor won government. On a slight gerrymander of not deliberate, but that's the way it was, that we have a law now that after every election, every seat effectively gets changed to make sure they're recalibrated. So there are a lot of booths that weren't in these seats before, they're shared, and it's a bit of a
lot of shifting around.
A lot of shifting.
Rob?
Look, two points. The booth that Kevin's talking about, I suspect might be St Agnes West in Newland, which was about 1,343 votes last time. And last time we were about 230 votes behind in that particular booth. So if it's the same booth, that is still remarkably the same. We might even be a little bit better in terms of performance. But can I just give you perhaps an early heads up, a seat called Enfield, which you wouldn't normally be looking at. It's a 25% Labor seat. We have had an extraordinarily energetic candidate, Luke Westley, in that electorate. After 4.5% of the vote, so we're not talking about 1% of the vote, he has a 30% swing in that particular seat. Now, it is going to be extraordinary for him to sustain 30%, but clearly, after 4.5% of the vote,
that means something.
To have 30% swing on 4.5% indicates that there's a big swing on. And I spoke to John Rao Friday. We were doing radio together, and I know he was a bit jumpy, even with 25% of the margin. I don't think he expects to lose, but he'd be a bit nervous at the moment at those first 4.5% of the votes that have come in.
And of course, Rob would be making sure that John Rao would be sitting even more nervously at home now. Rod's one of the great tricksters of the Parliament. He just wanted to make John sweat a little bit. But again, it's an interesting swing.
But the real key, though, as we all know, that sometimes a good sitting member in a marginal seat can withstand a swing to some degree.
Sure.
But if it's a big swing, it becomes almost irresistible, does it not?
That's right. And look, a seat like Enfield at 25%, no one would have been anticipating, and it's still a very, very big ask. But keep an eye on it and let's see what the size of the swing is.
Now, I'm not getting any communication at the moment, but I'm not sure whether we've got some graphics ready to do a seat run, but I'd like to. Can we have a look at the seat of Light? And this is held for Labor. Takes in Gawler, points north. It's held by Tony Piccolo for Labor with a margin of 2.1%. And with 8.6% of the vote counted, it should be in a position to tell us a story, Dean.
I can tell you a story, but I'm not going to tell you a result. There's 8.6% counted, and there is, I think, evidence that it's going to be right down to the wire. Tony Piccolo, 53% of the vote. Cosy Costa, 33%. It's going to be decided on preferences, there's no doubt about that. And the preferences that are crucial are the Green preferences. Turning to the swings, it's 50-50 with a 2.2% swing to the Liberal Party. Now, as the seat is held on a margin with a margin of 2.1%, I'm not calling that. But I think it's going to be very close.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll have a look at the seat of Newlands, which in Adelaide's northeast. This is also held for Labor on a margin of 5.2% by Tom Kenyon. He took this seat at the last election.
Tom Kenyon won this seat narrowly. I suppose it's comfortable. Trish Draper, the Liberal Party candidate, has 171 votes. Tom Kenyon, 29.9%. But I do feel that with... I've got a much later figure than that graphic showing, but I'll talk to the graphic.
10% counted.
There's 10% counted.
What have you got? I've got some numbers here, Dean, on that.
Well, I can give you the figures from mine.
Swing our way on
there's a swing of 5% to the Labor Party.
in Newland. That's what I'm getting from my people.
Yep. So there's a swing of 5%. Now, this is crucial because we've been talking about Labor winning 5 seats to force a hung parliament.
Oh, the Liberals.
The Liberals winning 5 seats to force a hung parliament. If Labor wins a seat or holds its seats and...
Or holds any one of those marginals.
Any one of those marginals, then it's a different ballgame. Yeah. It's going to be much harder for the Liberal Party to get the number it needs.
We've just had a booth in from Mawson, a small booth, and there was a 10% swing to our guy. But again, interesting point. I shouldn't have shown myself interest before. I've just been told in 4 booths in my electorate there's a 17% swing away from myself in my booth.
I hope it was North Haven, that's what I was.
And the point that Rob made before about Enfield, I mean, what you could well be seeing is that there is some strong swings away from incumbency in safe seats. And there could very well be very, very strong swings to Liberals in safe Liberal seats. This is, again, perhaps the point I was making earlier. Sometimes the larger the margin, the larger the swing, but it is certainly all over the shop.
All right, well, we'll come back and have a look at the seat of Hartley. 2.3% of the vote counted. This is another one of the marginal Labor seats, certainly marginal in this climate. Inner eastern suburbs, Grace Portalese won this seat at the last election, 6.2% margin.
Well, it's a big swing to expect to get for Grace Portalese, but if you look at the first preference votes, Joe Scalzi, who held this seat before Grace won it in 2006, is leading with 49% to 37%. Now, looking at that, you would say, well, Joe Scalzi's going to sweep it in. But it's...
Well, something's going on with the graphics, but you keep ploughing on with the figures.
I'll keep talking about Hartley. We have booths in from Campbelltown and Kensington Park, and they're showing a 16% swing to the Liberal Party. So I think Hartley, on a two-party preferred situation, is going to be almost certainly switching from Labor to Liberal.
OK.